my friends, yes, welcome to another episode of Nintendo Nightcap, bringing you as always all the latest Nintendo news. And today ain't no different. We got 3 stories for you. One of them I'm super excited about myself, and that's to do with Fast Fusion, because in just 2 days time the developers Shinin are going to be releasing a massive update for it, giving us not just a new graphical mode but new content in the form of a cup plus more as well. We're going to get into all of it in a second. Also, the developers of Sonic Racing Crossworlds seem to be taking a little bit of a dig at Mario Kart World, and we're going to find out why that might be the case. Plus, we're going to find out if the game is going to be a code in the box or a proper physical game. And lastly, Nintendo has given us a release date for Drag X Drive, the wheelchair basketball game. We're going to look at that also. But before we jump into all of it, my friends, don't forget I'm giving away a copy of Donkey Kong Bonanza on this very channel on release day. I'm going to be streaming it day 1. All you got to do is make sure you're subscribed. And now that you're here, may as well like the video because it helps us out loads, and just be there on the stream for your chance to win Donkey Kong Bonanza. Right then, first story of the day. Let's get it out of the way quick because it's the shortest, and that is Nintendo has finally given us a release date for Drag X Drive via its Nintendo Today app. Earlier, they gave us a little trailer. I think it's the same trailer, nothing new. And it's just a release date of the 14th of August, my friends. You can see it right here. There's a little still of it. You can see the trailer. This is an interesting one. I almost forgot this game was even being released. And it's because I feel like it's kind of been left behind, right? In all the hype of Mario Kart World and Cyberpunk and games like this and Fast Fusion even. And, you know, looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza. I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about this game. And I don't even know what the reaction to it really was, judging by all the people that went hands-on at the special event before the release of the Switch 2. I got the impression that people thought it was fine, but nothing special. Some people even said it kind of resembled more of a tech demo. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see how this game performs on release. And in fact, I kind of want to hear from you guys. Is anyone here excited for this game? Let me know in the comments below. But as I said, we got release date 14th of August. We shall have to see what the game is like when it's out. Right, next story of the day, my friends. Sonic Racing Crossroads, my friend, the Sega-orientated mascot kart racer, if you will. It's going to be out in not too long. I believe it's September, although longer for the Switch 2, which is annoying. But the producer Takashi Lizuka has been talking about the gameplay, and he said some very interesting thing, which has made me think about the current state of Mario Kart World, where we are seeing a lot of people getting really angry about the so-called AI cheating in the game and the rubber banding being completely out of control. You know, YouTube is filled with people raging at the game, saying there's just pure cheating going on. And I don't know if the producer of Sonic Racing Crossroads is aware of this, but My Nintendo News posted about a story in which he was being interviewed, and he spoke about how they've adapted, or they've decided to alter the gameplay in a way that's fairer by pulling back on the type of weapons that make racing unfair. And it seemed to be pointed at Mario Kart World. But this is what he had to say about it specifically. Lizuka says that one thing the team did is that they removed any items that were stressful for players, and also, rather importantly, removed anything that allowed people to come from behind and win all the time. Here's what he said. They wanted to make sure the racing itself without any items was fair and fun, Lizuka says. The dev team really took things down to those base level and wanted to have that fun, competitive racing mechanic. Vehicle and course design came first, and only once the devs had nailed the racing experience did they build it out by adding items. But those items weren't set in stone. Even after they eventually made it to the game, Lizuka says that the team did a lot of playtests, and anything that was very stressful for players, anything that always allowed people to come back from behind and win all the time, needed to be removed from the concept. So there you go. So that's what Takashi Lizuka was saying about the way they incorporated their items into the game Sonic Racing Crossworlds. And it's food for thought, because there is a lot of talk at the moment. I've had my own issues with Mario Kart World, in that it does seem as though the AI, even more than any game in the past, has insane rubber banding. That I can agree with. You already know, if you're in first place, you can count it to the second when that blue shell is arriving. You're going to be overtaken by 8 characters, and it happens time after time after time. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of an experience they're building with Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and how Mario Kart fans in particular will take to it. But that's not the only information we've got regarding the game, because we saw potentially that the game is going to be released, and this is good news, in a physical cartridge, not a code in a box. We can see a little picture here on Twitter. If we look over at the post by Nintendo, we can see that it just simply reads Sonic Racing Crossworlds Switch 2 physical release. It appears to be a Switch 2 edition rather than the dreaded game key card. And if we look at the picture, we can see it there in the middle of the other versions, the Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch 1 version. And it doesn't appear on the front to have the label indicating it's a game key card. So that is good news on that front, at least. Very good. We can see, of course, you know, there's been a lot of news regarding how third-party games are selling, and we know that Cyberpunk, on the other hand, sold amazingly well, and a lot of people point to the fact that not only is it an awesome game, but it's the fact that they put it on a game key card. Hopefully other developers are taking up suit, realizing what gamers want, and it seems as though Sega has read that message and they're going to be releasing Sonic Racing Crossworlds on a game card. So that is very good news indeed. But right then, the last story of the day, my friends. Yes, my friends, Fast Fusion, the best racer on the Switch 2, in my opinion, is going to get even better because Shin'en just confirmed earlier today on X that in 2 days' time, on the 26th of June, they're about to be dropping a massive upgrade for the game, in which we're going to be getting a new graphics mode, new music, new content in the form of another cup. So let's have a look over on X right away to see what they posted about this update. We can see the update is called the Pure Update version 1.3, and it's right there, released June 26th. So in the patch notes, my friend, we can see right at the top, it says added Caribbean Cup with 3 new tracks, my friends. Yes, 3 new tracks to get our teeth sunk into, and they are called Alpine Trust, Sonahara Plains, and Zenhosh Habitat. Underneath that, it's got some information about the tracks, and it says these tracks are based on fast RMX tracks, but with all new graphics and changed track layouts to allow to be played perfectly with the new hyper jump feature. The next point says new pure rendering mode without any upscaling, rendering at 1440p docked, 1080p handheld with dynamic resolution. Then we've got new GPU particle system for snow, 2 new jukebox entries, easier progression, which has lower price for the third cup, fixed an issue where the game shut down when changing render mode, and it's also got stability and performance improvements. So my friends, there you go, a massive update for Fast Fusion, a very welcome one indeed. The game was already my favorite racing game on the Switch 2, but if there was one thing making it lag down a little bit was the fact that it had only 12 tracks to race on. These 3 are very welcome then indeed. The pure mode that has 1440p without upscaling is very welcome. It means we're going to be getting more of a consistent image when we're racing, when we're speeding down the tracks. This is something that I believe has come from Digital Foundry, that they were saying that the game was abusing DLSS too much, and so when the game was speeding at a massive velocity, you would see too much distortion and particles, you know, in surrounding areas. I never noticed it myself. I don't really believe anyone else did. I don't even think Digital Foundry noticed it, because they were talking about the game before they went hands-on with it and saying how beautiful it looks. So I don't know. But anyway, in any case, you can now play in a 1440p completely without any upscaling, locked in. So that's very exciting. Plus, we got some new music to dabble through, more improvements in stability. A massive update. The fact it's come just 2 weeks after the game's release is very welcome. Who knows what we're going to get in the future. I believe they're going to let us know not too far away. So there you go, my friends. Hoping to try it out myself on day 1. I think I'll be streaming it here. I'm very excited to see those 3 tracks and the new 1440p mode. But let me know what you guys think. Were you happy with the game before? Did you have any issues with the image quality of the game when you're racing down those tracks? Or did you not even notice it like me? And let me know what you think about us getting 3 new tracks. But my friends, that is the video for today. That's all the news. I will be back next time with all the latest Nintendo news. Until then, my good friends, have an awesome night. See you soon. Bye.